y'all, it's Jessica from Sloppy Swatches. Today I have a look at the Twinkling Winter Holiday 2019 collection that is available right now from Zoya. These polishes were sent to me for review, and I'll go ahead and leave that storefront down below. Today while swatching, I'm going to start with sample B, which is the first 6-piece set followed by sampler A, but these are also available in trios as well as singles. So I'm going to go ahead and get right into the swatches. So first up is Zoya ROSA, and she is described as a bright and cheerful fuchsia with a pearl effect. So this is a pink with a micro pearl finish on there, and it is rated as a 5 in terms of intensity for opacity. I think this is more towards like a 4 or a 3. It does give a good, powerful punch of a color. It's showing up super intense on my camera here. It is not quite as neon in person, but it is definitely eye-catching. As soon as I opened up the sampler packet, this is the one that caught my eye. So for Rosa, I did prefer this polish at 2 coats. 1 coat lays down a nice base of color. However, I did still have a little bit of visible nail lines, so I'm going to went ahead and finish that up with a 2nd coat. Because this is a micro pearl polish, I did want to be just a little bit mindful with my brush strokes, but you can see there in the finish effect that they aren't really super evident at all. So here's a look at that completed mani at 2 coats out in direct sunlight. This is definitely a winner, especially if you love bright punchy pinks. So next up is Zoya's GABI, and she is described as a midnight purple aubergine cream. So if you are not familiar with the Zoya cream formula, they are amazing at making 1 and sometimes 2 coat creams. I'm going to go ahead and show you how GABI swatched today for me on my natural nail. So here is a look at that first easy coat. This one went on super smooth and creamy. I am just using the standard Zoya brush. You can opt to upgrade to the larger, wider brush, but this one works fine. I did have a little bit of pulling down the stem. For GABI, I did like the coverage at 1 coat, but you could see the low spots there on my nail, so I did opt to go ahead and go in for that quick 2nd coat. I just think it deepens up the finish and makes this polish the most it can be. So here is a look at that completed mani at 2 coats before a glossy top coat underneath the artificial lighting, and then this is my final swatch photo under that same lighting. Next up is Zoya's SEDONA, and this is described as a warm spiced mahogany with a pearl effect. Y'all, this one is my girl, definitely one of my top picks. So it's going to do different color payoff underneath the different lighting. There, I was getting a lot of brown and red tones, but when you bring this out in direct sunlight, like, it has beautiful purple shimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how it's swatched today for me on my natural nail. That first coat went on like butter, super smooth. I did kind of go in for a little bit of a thicker first coat, so it does have nice coverage there. However, I think a 2nd coat is really going to amp up the depth and give you a ton of shimmer, and just it deepens up that finish again, just to super smooth, buttery warmness. So here's a look at that completed mani at 2 coats before a glossy top coat. I'd really like to see this one matte as well. I think it's really going to bring that shimmer to the forefront. So here is a quick view from a different angle in direct sunlight. You can see there, that red kind of plays more purple in direct sunlight, which I love. So this is my final swatch photo at an angle in direct sunlight. So next up is Zoya's Gin, and I feel like this one is completely blowing up online on social media, and for all the right reasons. So she is described as a royal sapphire blue with a hint of purple. You can see that purple playing around in the edges on the bottle there. I swatched this one without a base coat, which is a total no-no for me, and I was so worried about staining, but I had absolutely none. This blue is very deep, very shimmery. At 1 coat, it was just a nice flush of color on the nail. I did still have some visible nail line peeking through, so I did go ahead and go in for a quick 2nd coat. 2 coats is all you need for this one. It's going to give you a ton of punch, a ton of shimmer, a ton of color. It's very deep on the nails. Again, this is one that I would totally put a matte top coat on and rock all through the winter. So here is a quick view from a different angle in direct sunlight. This one is super, super gorgeous on the nail. I just cannot sing its praises enough. This is definitely another one of my top picks. So that is my final swatch photo at an angle in that direct sunlight. So next up is Zoya's ALESSIA, and she is described as an icy blue metallic with hints of silver. This one is completely unique to my collection. I have like pretty much I say almost all of the Zoyas ever made. This one doesn't really look like any other polish in that collection. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how it's swatched today for me on my natural nail. I did go in a little bit thicker here. Again, I had some pooling down the stem, so I just wiped that off and spread that first coat out. Very good coverage here in just one coat. However, it's not completely opaque, so I am going to go ahead and go in for a quick second coat. 2 coats is all you need for this one. You get a ton of silver shimmer that's really going to bump up that opacity. So even if you have strong visible nail lines, you're not going to have to worry about going in for tons and tons of coats. So here is a look at that completed mani at just 2 coats before a glossy top coat. Y'all hear how sparkly that is before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. And then once more from a different angle in direct sunlight. This one is definitely going to give you some flash on the nail. Next up is Zoya Jet, and this is one of the most complex polishes of this collection. So this one is described as having a frosted silver with a flaky texture that dries down matte. So a lot going on here. I'm going to go ahead, really the only way to describe this polish is to show you it in action. So here's a look at that first easy coat. This one does go on nice and smooth. It does have larger silver chunks that I kind of had to be a little bit mindful about how they were placed on the nail, but I love them. Like, I love them. They don't make a ton of texture, but if you want it completely smooth, you are going to want to put down a coat of a glossy top coat. I'm completely torn about how I like this polish more. I don't know if I like it more matte or glossy. I think it looks almost like a completely different polish either way, and like as soon as I got this, I've already used it in nail art. So here is a look at that completed mani at just 2 coats before a glossy top coat. So it really makes it look almost like a silver fool's gold on the nail. I did go ahead and put a coat of top coat on my ring and pinky nail here to try to show you the difference. It makes it completely sparkly in direct sunlight. This one, I love this one. So next up is Zoya's KAEDE, and as soon as I got this one in the bottle, I was kind of like, that's definitely going to be a topper, but I'm going to show you how it's swatched today all on its own. So she is described as a gold metallic fleck with holographic foil. You can overlay it over your favorite Zoya or wear it all alone. So here is a look at that first easy coat. This one goes on like, you do have to be a little bit mindful of those larger holographic shards, but I had no problems with that at all. The color payoff on those is amazing, and I'm willing to work with it. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how it built up for me with a quick second coat. I did find that kind of dancing the brush around the cuticle and then kind of dragging it down helped me get the most coverage and really get those larger pieces to lay down nice and not completely collect toward my tip. If you wanted to go in with a sponge and sponge this one on, I really think that's going to be your best way to do it. 3 coats, it does make for full coverage. I did kind of have to spot check with that third coat, but look at that color on the nail. This looks like a New Year's party like going on all the time. I do recommend going in with 1 coat of your favorite glossy top coat just to smooth out those larger glitters. So here is a look at KAEDE at a different angle in direct sunlight with 3 coats as well as a glossy top coat. And then this is my final swatch photo at a different angle under that same direct sunlight. So next up, we're going to dive deeper into the creams from Sampler A. So it is ENZA, and ENZA is described as a medium macadamia cream. So this one is a little bit more putty toned. It was a little bit too beige for me. I didn't really like how it played with the red tones in my skin. However, I feel like if you have a deeper skin tone, this one is going to be beautiful on you. So ENZA does go on nice and creamy. I really feel like this one could be opaque in just 1 easy, careful coat. I did get a little bit on my cuticle there. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to clean that up just because like I made a mess. So I'm just using an orange stick here and just swiping it out of my cuticle. It's that easy. It doesn't like to cling or stain or anything like that. Super easy. So I did opt to go in for a quick second coat for this one just to get as close to my sidewalls as I could and make sure it's completely opaque. Again, with 1 careful coat, I totally could have gotten there. But here is a look at ENZA at 2 coats before a glossy top coat underneath my artificial lighting. And then really quickly from a different angle, really beautiful cream, just not for me. So this is my final swatch photo at an angle under that same artificial lighting. So next up is Zoya STEPH, and she is described as a muted winter pink cream with a warm undertone. This one I love. First off, I'm partial because my sister is named Steph, but I love how the light, classy pink tones really play with my skin here, and it has almost like a peachy undertone. Super in love with it. It's very brightening on the nail, and the formula is amazing. So there's a look at that first easy coat. I did go ahead and opt to go in for a quick second coat. I kind of like didn't get as close to my sidewalls as I could and had a little bit of opacity issues towards my nail tip. With a really careful coat, I think you can get this one to a 1 coat wonder as well. So here's a look at that completed mani. Add 2 coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. And then really quickly from a different angle, you can see how gorgeously glossy these dry down even without top coat. Very impressed. So next up is Zoya's Mai, and she's described as a sophisticated rosewood cream. So you have pink tones playing in there, some mauve tones playing in there, very like winter appropriate pink. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how this swatched today for me on my natural nail. So you can see there with even that first pass, the opacity is amazing. I did have some drippage down my stem that I kind of wiped out and leveled off this first coat. I think with careful application, you could get away with a 1 coat for this one. However, like looking back at these pictures, I can see where it could get a little bit deeper towards my nail tip. So I do recommend 2 coats for this one. So here is a look at that completed mani. Add just 1 coat underneath artificial lighting before a glossy top coat. And then this is my final swatch photo under that same artificial lighting. So next up is Zoya's TIERAN, and this is another just beautiful cream. She is best described as a medium-toned charcoal cream, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you this one pairs beautifully with a JETT. So here is a look at that first easy coat. This one could not be any better. 1 coat wonder, that's all you need. It is a little bit of a thicker first coat. If you prefer to go in super thin, you may need to, but like that color payoff is amazing. So here's a look at that completed mani. Add just 1 coat before a glossy top coat underneath my artificial lighting. And then really quickly from a different angle with the bottle to kind of show off, you get on the nails exactly what's in the bottle. So this is my final swatch photo at an angle under that same artificial lighting. So rounding out the collection today, I have Zoya's Tanya, and she is described as a festive candy red cream. You guys, I will never get over a red cream polish. This one is banging. So here is a look at that first easy coat. It goes on with a super gorgeous punch of color. I do feel like this is maybe a blue based red, but very, very light. I think it dries down maybe a little bit darker than it applies. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how this built up for me with a quick second coat. I could almost see a flash of visible nail line, like almost. So I did go ahead and opt to go in for a quick second coat just to make sure it was all the way there, no issues. I did end up wearing this one. I'm wearing it right now, actually. I didn't have any issues with staining too bad. I did have to do a little bit of cleanup there. So here is a look at that completed mani. I just 2 coats before a glossy top coat underneath my artificial lighting, and then really quickly from a different angle with that bottle. And this is my final swatch photo. So that does wrap up my swatch and review of the Twinkling 2019 collection from Zoya. I'm going to go ahead and mention that yes, just like you, I am completely heartbroken. There aren't any new Pixies yet. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that Zoya comes out with a white one for sure. It's needed. Like you would sell so much. Please make that. So that's all I have for today. If you'd like to see more, you can also follow me on Instagram at Sloppy Swatches. So thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.